Good day, everyone. Before anything else, I would like to introduce myself. I am Rhea Arca, and I am the first reporter, together with my gorgeous partner, Miss Michelle Pajota. And we are the reporters for Module 14 entitled Constructivism, Knowledge Construction, and Concept Learning. As we start, I will present the learning objectives. So in this module, challenge yourself to first, explain the role of constructivism in facilitating learning. Second, describe strategies to promote knowledge construction. And lastly, describe strategies to facilitate concept learning. For introduction, this module discusses constructivism, which was mentioned in the previous modules of Piaget and Brunner. It is the distillation of most of the principles of cognitive psychology. This is the advanced organizer of constructivism. So, the content of our today's discussion will be views of constructivism, which is divided into two: the individual constructivism and social constructivism. Another are the characteristics of constructivism and organizing knowledge. As we continue, we have a quotation here from William Butler Yeats, which says that teaching is not about filling up the pail. It is about lighting a fire. So when we say filling up the pail, it is more linked to role learning and behaviorism. It connotes that teaching is dominated by the teacher and the learner are passive receivers of knowledge, while lighting the fire is related to the cognitive perspective and constructivism. It signifies that teaching involves giving opportunities for learners to explore and discover. Learners construct their own meaning. Learners generate insights and are enlightened. Before we proceed to the lesson proper, let us first define what is constructivism. So, constructivism is the theory that says learners construct knowledge rather than just passively take in information. As people experience the world and reflect upon those experiences, they build their own representations and incorporate new information into their pre-existing knowledge. Another one, constructivism focuses on knowledge construction. So there are two views of constructivism. First is the individual constructivism. It is also called as cognitive constructivism. It emphasizes individual, internal construction of knowledge. It is largely based on Piaget's theory, wherein Piaget's theory of constructivism argues that people produce knowledge and form meaning based upon their experiences. So the two key components which create the construction of an individual's new knowledge are accommodation and assimilation. Assimilation causes an individual to incorporate new experiences into the old experiences. This causes the individual to develop new outlooks. So in this view, learners can construct their knowledge through the help of their experiences, self-discovery, or self-exploration. Another view is social constructivism. This view emphasizes that knowledge exists in a social context and is initially shared with others instead of being represented solely in the mind of an individual. This view is based on Vygotsky theory, wherein Vygotsky theory states that knowledge is co-constructed and that individuals learn from another. Here, construction of knowledge is shared by two or more people. So in other words, interaction plays a fundamental role in this view, since by interacting with other people around you, knowledge will be created. According to social constructivists, The opportunity to interact and share among learners help to shape and refine their ideas. Knowledge construction becomes social, not individual. Social constructivism is closely connected to cognitive with the added element of societal and peer influence. It comprises cognitive structures that are still in the process of maturing, but which can only mature under the guidance of or in collaboration with others. Let's proceed to characteristics of constructivism. Whether one takes the individual or social view of constructivism, there are four characteristics that these two have, according to Agen and Kochak, and these are the first, learners construct understanding. As discussed earlier, constructivists do not view learners as just empty vessels waiting to be filled up. Learners are seen to be active thinkers who are actively involved in their own learning. At the same time, learners can interpret new information based on what they already know. Lastly, learners construct their understanding in a way that makes sense to them. Second, new learning depends on current understanding. Background information is very necessary. It is through the present views or scheme that the learners has that new information will be interpreted. As we all know, walang new learning if wala tayong naintindihan sa ating lessons. Walang ideas or new thoughts na makukolek yung utak natin since wala tayong naintindihan sa mga tinuturo sa atin. And that's why ang ating new learning ay nagdedepende pa rin doon sa ating level or current understanding. So third, learning is facilitated by social interaction. Constructivists believe in creating a community of learners with classrooms. Learning communities help learners take responsibility for their own learning. If in the traditional classroom, si teacher yung gumagawa ng lahat which we considered as spoon-feeding, in the constructivist classroom, it is totally different. Learners are actively involved and they are given a lot of opportunities to cooperate and collaborate to solve problems and to discover things. Si teacher ay nagfa-function as facilitator who will guide, prompt, and help the students to develop, construct, or assess their own learning. Lastly, meaningful learning occurs within authentic task. An authentic task is one that involves a learning activity that involves constructing knowledge and understanding that is so akin to the knowledge and understanding needed when applied in the real world. So, as a teacher, one of the most important things to consider is yung mga task na binibigay or ibibigay natin sa ating students. When it comes to giving task, it should be related to real-life situations kasi mas mapapadali or mas makakatulong ito sa learning nung bata. Halimbawa, the learner encounters situations which you have given before. So yung bata, maalala niya yung tinuro mo and he or she will become more knowledgeable enough to cope up with the situation that he or she facing. So, that's the end of my part. I will now give the floor to the next reporter.
Hi everyone, I am Michelle B. Pahota and I will continue the discussion. So, organizing knowledge. So, first, concept. It is a way of grouping or categorizing objects or events in our mind. A concept of teach includes a group of tasks such as model, discuss, illustrate, explain, assess, and etc. So, as a student, di ba tayo ay pumapasok sa school in order for us to gain new knowledge. So, ang mga concept na tinuturo sa atin ng ating mga guro ay sisilbing gabay para sa atin. So, this concept also revise as you learn more and experience more. So next, concept as feature list. So it involves learning specific features that characterize positive instance of the concept. So mayroon tayong dalawang feature. So first, defining feature. So characteristic present in all instances. So an example of this kay ang triangle. So we all know that triangle have three sides. So having three sides is a defining feature of a triangle because all triangles should have three sides. So kapag four ang side, so square na siya. So dili na siya triangle. So that makes it a defining feature. So kailangan pag defining feature dapat present gid siya in all instances. So next, correlational feature. So, is one that is present in many faceted instances but not essential for concept membership. So, an example of this is a loving mother. So, or a mother is loving. So, being loving is a feature commonly present in the concept of the mother. So, but a mother may not be loving, so being loving is only correlational feature, not a defining one. So meaning ani kay, 'di ba? Dili tanan nga mother is loving because some mothers are mga pintas, so pintas sila sa ilang mga anak. So with this, na maong nahimo siya nga correlational feature lang because dili tanan nga mother is loving. So mauna ang correlational feature. So, concept as prototype. So, it is an idea or visual image of a typical example. So, it is usually formed based on the positive instances that learners encounter most often. So, an example of this is when you close your eyes, then I will say na you think of a cat or an image of a cat. So, what you visualize is yung cat lang na typical yung makikita lang natin sa loob ng bahay or sa street. Rather than yung mga rare breeds or mga rare species na pwede naman nating i-visualize. So, once a learner have their own concept prototypes, the new example that they see are checked against this existing prototype. So next, concepts as exemplars. So exemplars represent a variety of examples. It allows the learner to know that an example under a concept may have variability. So for example, ang mga learners ay maraming alam tungkol sa vegetables like cauliflower, corns, string beans, potatoes, and etc. So when he or she encounters a new type of vegetables like betuelas, he would search from the exemplars he knows and look for one that is most similar like string beans. So, hahalongkatin ng learners ang kung ano ba ang medyo malapit sa itsura ng betuela. So, ang nahanap niya from his current knowledge is the string beans dahil mag-anak ang string beans at betuelas or magkamuka sila. Now, let's move on. So, making concept learning effective. So, as a future teacher, we can help students to learn concept by doing the following. So, first, provide a clear definition of the concept. So, you must provide a complete and or clear and precise na definition ng concept in order to avoid confusion sa ating mga students. So, we need to make sure that to make the defining features very concrete and prominent. So, kailangan na rin nating magbigay ng mga positive and negative instances. Also, mag-give din tayo ng best exemplars or prototypes. So, mag-give tayo ng mga visual image na tumpak sa ating visualize na concept, and then magbigay din ng best example, mga halimbawa na tumpak rin kung ano ang iyong tinatalakay na concept. So, also, you need to provide opportunity for learners to identify positive and negative instances. So, hayaan mo mag-explore ang iyong students na in order for them to identify what is the positive and negative instances, and then ask learner to think of their own example of the concept. So, hayaan mo rin sila na mag-think ng kanilang mga examples towards sa isang concept. So, and lastly, point out how concept can be related to each other. So, you need to point out din kung ano ang pagkaka-connect ng mga concept na iyong tinuturo sa kanila. So, that is the making concept learning effective. So, now let's move on. So, schema and script. So, let's discuss first the schema. So, it is an organized body of knowledge about something. It is like a file of information you hold in your mind about something. For example, is like a schema of what a teacher is. So, next naman is a script. So, a script is a schema that includes a series of predictable events of a specific activity. So, napipredict na mga activity. So, for example, knowing the series of steps done when we visit a doctor, or what transpires at the beginning of a class when the teachers arrives. So, our role as a teacher is to bring learners to construct their own knowledge such that they have a well-organized set of concepts. So, our aim is to make clear those concepts that are still vague for them, and then kailangan talaga nating ma-clear ang mga bagay na mga that is still vague sa kanilang mga bagay na hindi nila maintindihan. Kailangan talaga nating ipaintindi sa kanila upang hindi magkaroon ng confusion at ma-overcome din natin ang mga misconceptions nila about a certain concept. So, it is important that we acquire skills and how to facilitate concept formation and development. So, the constructivism can be an excellent guide for us. So, applying constructivism and facilitating learning. So, first, aim to make learners understand a few key ideas in an in-depth manner rather than taking up so many topics superficially. So, second, give varied examples. So, kailangan mo magbigay ng iba't ibang examples upang mas maintindihan ka ng mga students mo. And then, provide opportunities for quality interaction. So, kailangan may interaction between the teacher and the learners upang mas maging effective ang learning, and then para na rin mas maging komportable na maghayag ang mga students mo ng kanilang thoughts, opinions about something. So, next, have lots of hand-on activities. So, kailangan maraming mga activities ka na ihahanda para sa kanila. And then, kailangan din na maging hands-on ka when conducting the activities. So, next, relate your topic to real-life situation. So, common naman ito sa constructivist na classroom. So, kailangan talaga na i-relate ang topic na na-discuss natin sa real life situation upang mas maging maalam ang mga students na kung ano ang kahalagahan ng isang bagay sa ating buhay. And then, lastly, do not depend on the explanation method all the time. So, kailangan wag tayong mag-depend lang na palagi na lang na mag-defend sa explanation method. So, that's the end of our discussion. So, that would be all. Thank you, everyone.